11-point game. 4 minutes to go, 11-point game. De'Aaron Fox this time with a pretty bucket to put them up 104-91. San Antonio led by as many as 28. They end up going on to win this one big after a big night from, well, 6 of their players in double figures, including all 5 starters, led by as many as 28, shot just under 55% from 2. And the Spurs earning their first series win since 2017. Victor Wembanyama finishing his night with a double-double, 17 points and 14 boards. De'Aaron Fox, who we just saw leading the way with a team-high 21 points. For what it's worth, San Antonio, all 4 of their wins in this series, all coming by at least 10 points. And now they're moving on to the next round. They're moving on, indeed, as we bring in NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, the Spurs didn't just close the series. I mean, they set the tone from jump in this game, leading by as many as 28, shooting nearly 55% from the field. Over double-digit threes, turned a closeout game, I feel like, into a statement. But also, got to add that Wemby didn't even need to control this game. But what impressed you most from this young Spurs team in a closeout spot?
Yeah, in the fourth quarter, they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit, and credit to the Blazers for fighting till the last, right? And then the Spurs went, oh yeah, we're just going to remind you that we're that much better than you, and we're going to end up winning this thing by double digits, and we're going to hold you under 100 points. And you mentioned Wemby. Wemby went for, if you can do this, a casual 17-point, 14 rebound, double-double, right? And then on top of that, he had 6 blocks. I mean, like, his defensive level is just so much higher, obviously, than everybody else. He was the first unanimous defensive player of the year in NBA history. He looked amazing. But also, as the Blazers got closer in the fourth quarter, you saw De'Aaron Fox just have like a phenomenal fourth quarter. Again, 2 games in a row where second half of the last game where he really put the jetpacks on and helped them win that game in Portland. And then tonight in the closeout when you thought the Blazers might creep into it, they cut it to single digits and De'Aaron Fox said, we're not playing around here. And he goes for 21 points and 9 assists. He was phenomenal. He's the one guy on this team, aside from Harrison Barnes, of course, who really has like a little bit of postseason experience. And now for the first time since 2017, the Spurs have won a series. They're moving on.
I love how you just said a casual double-double for Victor Wembanyama. But let's talk about the other side, because Portland, I mean, there's also a big picture conversation to have here too. The Blazers, I mean, now they got some playoff experience. They saw real flashes from their young core, some key things they can build off next season. But how do you envision this Blazers team just continuing to build around this young core like Denny Avdia and others?
Yeah, you know what? This was a good season for the Blazers, right? Because they wanted to make it into the postseason, and then they did that. They came out of the play-in. They hit on Denny Avdia early in the year when Drew Holiday got hurt. They looked around and with no Dame Lillard, who were going to put the ball, who's going to have the ball in their hands, and it was Denny Avdia, and he really had a fantastic career year, makes All-Star, has an outside shot to make All-NBA. So next year, even with Dame Lillard coming back and Drew Holiday, it's Denny Avdia's team. Now, they have some other things that they got to figure out here, right? Because as you saw in this game and in this series, despite the fact that they played really well for the Blazers, right? It was always going to be a tough series against the Spurs, but they really fought. They obviously don't have enough shooting, right? They went 11 for 47 in this game alone, 23% from deep. Not a lack of volume, just a lack of guys who can actually make shots. So they want that. Dame will help a little bit. And then they also have to figure out who's going to be their head coach, right? I mean, Thiago Splitter, I think, has earned that role, but with the new ownership group, we'll see whether or not Tom Dundon wants to keep him around. And so also, do they maybe take a big swing? Our colleague, Sam Quinn at CBSSports.com, floated the idea of maybe they make a run at Kevin Durant. Maybe you dangle somebody like Jeremy Grant and Shaedon Sharpe, who had a good season earlier in the year, but then fell out of the playoff rotation for reasons surpassing understanding because they needed offense, but they weren't going to go to Shaedon Sharpe. I don't know, but maybe they could dangle him. Kevin Durant would be an interesting guy. Maybe they make a run at Giannis or somebody else, but this is a good start for them, and it was a good season in Portland.
You're talking about maybe taking a big swing. We just saw in that graphic right there, estimated at $66 million in cap space this year. No picks, though, in the draft, so, hey, maybe wide open for free agency. But let's talk about the Spurs, because they now get to just sit back, kick their feet up, and wait to see how the Nuggets T-Wolves series plays out, which it's possible, John, that this series could be far from over. Now, if it's Denver, we got a big man showdown between Wemby and Jokic. If it's Minnie, there is that potential of the return of Anthony Edwards on the back end of the series. But if you are San Antonio, Who are you trying to see in the conference semis?
Yeah, I mean, it would be Minnesota, right? Because they're without Dante DiVincenzo, and you don't know what kind of Anthony Edwards you're going to get. But when you think about the Spurs, they won the second most games just behind Oklahoma City this season, but they have a losing record during the regular season against those other two teams, right? And so I think all of us were sort of gearing up for Spurs versus Nuggets, Wemby versus Joker. That would be the series that the rest of us want to see. But if you're the Spurs, yeah, I would probably rather have Minnesota because, they're injured right now. They're hobbled. They're down 2 of their 5 starters. Even if Ant comes back, what kind of Ant are you going to get out of that? The Spurs, they're probably hoping it a little bit, even though Minnesota is up 3-2. That doesn't necessarily guarantee that they're going to win that series. It's a very strange series. So, yes, as you mentioned, the Spurs get to kind of just sit back, watch this thing right now, bask in the realization that they've won a series for the first time since 2017. Let those other two teams go at it. Here's what they really hope, right? That it goes 7. Make those guys work before the Spurs have to play them in the second round, and then whoever they play, I'm sure that the Spurs will be ready for it.
Okay, so I feel like this answer was question twofold. Who do the Spurs want to see? Well, they want to see the Wolves, but who do us as basketball fans want to see? Might be a consensus. I know some other fans might have something to say about that, but perhaps maybe that is that battle of the big men, Jokic and Victor Wembanyama, but still yet to be seen. Like I said, I think this series is far from over, but meanwhile, Spurs, they'll be watching just like us. John Gonzalez, appreciate you. Thank you so much. I mean, what can he do? He's called the alien for a reason. Take a look at the most blocks in the first 4 career playoff games since the year 2000. Victor Wembanyama with 16, the second most during that span. He had 6 or more blocks in each of the past 2 games of this series, just one behind Brook Lopez, who had 17 in 2013. And now he gets to rest up and give us some more in the second round.
Has been one of, if not the dominant storyline in the NBA this season. Now, the league has settled on a new anti-tanking proposal with a final vote set for May 28th. That's all according to ESPN. It's called the 3-2-1 proposal for the number of lottery balls allotted per teams. It includes a sunset provision after the 2029 draft, allowing the league to change course if necessary. And it would prohibit a team from drafting number 1 overall in consecutive years or picking in the top 5 or 3 straight drafts. Let's take a look at the details here. The lottery would expand from 14 to 16 starting with next year's draft. The teams with the 3 worst go to a so-called relegation zone where they receive only 2 lottery balls each, but they can pick no lower than 12. The 7 remaining teams that miss the postseason entirely, well, they get 3. The 9 and 10 seeds get 2 lottery balls, while the losers of the 7 to 8 games get 1. One more note, the NBA would have to expand disciplinary authority to regulate tanking, either by reducing lottery odds or adjusting a team's draft position.